What if one of the most glamorous women in the Philippines secretly spent years paying for a boyfriend who barely gave anything back? Fans were left completely stunned after Heart Evangelista made surprisingly honest confession about one of her past relationships, and let's just say, not everyone is looking at her exes the same way anymore. Did one of Heart's former boyfriends actually take advantage of her generosity? And who exactly was she talking about? Stay tuned, because this story has fans investigating every clue. When people think of Heart Evangelista, they imagine luxury, designer fashion, international runways, Paris Fashion Week, a successful actress, a socialite, a style icon, and one of the most admired women in Philippine entertainment. But behind the glamorous photos and picture-perfect lifestyle is a woman who recently revealed a surprisingly relatable experience. A story about love, giving too much, and realizing that not everyone deserves the generosity you offer. During a candid interview, Heart opened up about relationships, dating, and who should pay when couples go out. At first, the conversation seemed light and playful. But then, Heart dropped a confession that immediately caught everyone's attention. She admitted there was one ex-boyfriend who made her feel like she was becoming sugar mommy. And just like that, social media exploded. If you've followed Heart's journey over the years, one thing has always been clear. She loves deeply. Whether it's her family, her friends, her fans, or her husband, Heart has always been known as someone who gives wholeheartedly. And according to her own admission, that's exactly how she behaves in relationships. When the topic of paying during dates came up, Heart explained that she doesn't mind paying at all. In fact, she often enjoys it. If she's the one who invited someone, she'll gladly take the bill. If she's with friends, she's often the one paying too. Because for Heart, generosity isn't a burden. It's part of who she is. It's her way of expressing affection. Her way of making people feel loved. Her way of showing appreciation. And many fans immediately related. After all, everyone knows someone who expresses love through gifts, surprises, and acts of generosity. For Heart, that's simply her love language. Then came the moment nobody expected. Heart suddenly loved and made a statement that instantly grabbed headlines. She admitted that she was always spending money on men. Always. The comment was delivered with humor. But fans quickly realized there was something deeper behind the laughter. Because sometimes people laugh about painful experiences long after they've moved on. And then came the bombshell. Heart revealed that there was one particular boyfriend who left such a bad impression on her that she still remembers it today. One relationship. One man. One memory. And according to Heart, the experience left very unpleasant taste in her mouth. The reason? She felt she was doing all the giving, all the spending, all the investing, while receiving very little in return. And that's when she used the phrase that shocked everyone. I felt like he was a sugar mommy. Suddenly, fans everywhere were paying attention. The moment clips from the interview began circulating online, fans transformed into detectives. Who was she talking about? Which ex-boyfriend could Heart possibly mean? Was it someone famous? Was it someone from her early years in showbiz? Was it an actor? A businessman? A celebrity fans already know? Questions flooded social media. Comment sections exploded. Discussion forums lit up. And suddenly, everyone was trying to connect the dots. Of course, Heart didn't reveal any names. And she made it very clear that she wasn't interested in publicly shaming anyone. But that didn't stop fans from speculating. In the world of celebrity gossip, mystery always fuels curiosity. And this mystery had all the ingredients fans love. A glamorous celebrity. A surprising confession. An unnamed ex. and just enough clues to keep everyone guessing. To understand why this confession resonated so strongly, you have to understand Hart's history. For years, fans have watched her navigate the complicated world of love under the public spotlight. Every relationship was analyzed. Every rumor became headline. Every breakup generated discussion. And throughout it all, Hart often appeared as someone who believed in giving relationships her full heart. That's one reason fans felt emotional hearing her confession. Because many people have experienced the same thing. Giving more than they receive. Putting in more effort than their partner. Investing emotionally, financially, or mentally while the other person simply takes. It's a painful realization. And hearing someone as successful as Hart admit she experienced it too made her feel even more relatable. One of the most touching parts of Hart's confession wasn't the money itself. It was what the spending represented. When someone constantly pays for things, it isn't always about wealth. Sometimes it's about love. Sometimes it's about wanting someone to feel special. Sometimes it's about making life easier for someone you care about. And sometimes it's because you genuinely enjoy giving. But what happens when generosity isn't appreciated? What happens when kindness becomes expected? What happens when giving starts to feel one-sided? That's where heartbreak often begins. And many fans believe that's exactly what Hart was describing. Not frustration about money, but disappointment about imbalance. A relationship where the effort wasn't being matched. As expected, fans had a lot to say. Many immediately sided with Hart. Others shared personal stories of relationships where they felt used. Some said Hart's honesty was refreshing. Others praised her for speaking openly without naming names. Comments began appearing everywhere. Even beautiful and successful women experience this. Hart deserves someone who appreciates her. I can relate so much. Being generous can sometimes attract the wrong people. Many viewers admitted they felt emotional hearing her story. Because it reminded them of their own experiences. Moments when they gave too much. Loved too much. Trusted too much. Only to realize later that the relationship wasn't balanced. Then came another memorable moment. The interviewer asked if she could at least give clue. Fans leaned in. Social media practically held its breath. Would Hart finally reveal something? Would she narrow down the suspects? Would she accidentally expose her ex? Instead, Hart simply laughed. And with perfect timing, she responded that all of her exes were good-looking. The answer was funny. Charming. Classic Hart. But it also made the mystery even bigger. Because now fans had even less information. And somehow that made them even more curious. But here's where the story becomes much bigger than celebrity gossip. The real revelation isn't about identifying the ex. The real revelation is about what Hart learned from the experience. For years, fans have admired her fashion, beauty, and success. But this confession revealed something even more powerful. Growth. Self-awareness. And wisdom. Hart wasn't speaking as a heartbroken ex-girlfriend. She was speaking as a woman who understands her worth. Someone who can now recognize when a relationship isn't balanced. Someone who understands that generosity should never be mistaken for obligation. Someone who knows that love should feel mutual. And perhaps that's why so many fans connected with her story. Because the lesson applies to everyone. No matter who you are. No matter how successful you become. You still deserve relationships where effort goes both ways. Today, many fans aren't focused on the mystery. They're focused on Hart herself. They're celebrating how far she's come. The confidence. The honesty. The ability to laugh about difficult experiences. And the courage to share lessons learned. For some viewers, the story was entertaining. For others, it was inspiring. And for many, it served as a reminder never to undervalue themselves in relationships. Because generosity is beautiful. But only when it's appreciated. Heart Evangelista may have left fans with more questions than answers. Who was the ex? What exactly happened? How serious was the relationship? Those questions remain unanswered. But perhaps that's not the point. The bigger story is that Heart has grown into a woman who knows her value. A woman who can look back at old mistakes, laugh about them, and share the lessons with millions. And maybe that's why the fans continue to love her. Not because she's perfect, but because she's real. So what do you think? Was Heart right to speak up about feeling like a sugar mommy? Do you think relationships should always be equal when it comes to effort and spending? And who do you think she was talking about? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more celebrity stories, shocking confessions, and the latest entertainment updates. Because in the world of celebrities, sometimes the biggest headlines aren't about fame. They're about the lessons learned from love.